Our theme this month is trust. My topic today is release as evidence of trust. Release as evidence of trust. You know, the evidence is never the thing itself. Evidence just points towards something. We use evidence as some kind of like outer proof of the existence of something. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works, it doesn't matter how much faith you have in anything if you can't step out on it. It reminds me, I believe I told this joke maybe a month or two ago, about the mountain climber who is climbing up the mountain and slips. And on the way down is fortuitous enough to just be able to grab onto a limb that's hanging out from the side of the mountain. Scared to death. He's praying to God, no, please send your angels to save me and to protect me. Oh, God, the angels, and all of a sudden an angel comes. Just flitting right there and says, do you believe that I can lift you up and take you down? Oh, yes. Do you believe that it's possible to get, oh, yes. Yes. So the angel says, okay, let go. Like, what you talking about? Let go. Therein is part of the problem. Is that we're praying, and we don't want to let go. We don't want to let go. We're living in this space where we're trying to do both simultaneously. I want to pray for something new, and I want to hang on to the old until the new thing comes. Just in case. Knowing quite well I don't have room enough for the new and the old simultaneously. I have neither the physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional space to actually have both simultaneously, even if they were to come. That's a dilemma. That's a pickle, as folks would say. There is a particular form of affirmative prayer that Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, created. And we think sometimes of it as a method of prayer, as a prayer practice. But what he was talking about really was an anatomy of prayer. He was talking about a terrain that consciousness goes through when it prays. That any effective prayer goes through this territory. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. It could be one word. But energetically, it's covering all of this space. He says it's starting off with recognition. And at that point of recognition, we're recognizing that there is some power, there is something in the universe that's bigger than the problem. So in that moment of prayer, we are lifting ourselves up to a transcendent space to get a new view. But the second step is unification. Is no longer looking at the good or whatever it is that we're trying to manifest as something external, but there's a place of connectedness. That even in the prayer, even in the begging and beseeching prayer, there's a sense of a unification. Even if you're just thinking of God as your Savior, there's still no gap anymore. You're connected. Whether you're thinking of it as law and a power that you're putting forth, whether you're thinking of it as you're good, but at some point in another, the thing that you're praying for can't be out there. At some point, there has to be a sense of your connectedness to it. If you're praying for conflict resolution, at some point, your prayer just can't be about the other person anymore. At some point, something has to shift in you, so in your prayer, you're praying for both of you. You're praying for the whole family. You're praying for even the one that you think you're in conflict with. There's a unification point that takes place there. There's a realization. You go through recognition, unification, and a realization where it's now. It's here. There's a possibility consciousness. You don't necessarily have to give a blueprint of what you think it's going to look like in the manifest world. You have released all the reasons why not. And in your mind, it's a done deal. Can't nobody tell you nothing. When you've reached that point of realization, you know and you know and you know that you know. There's thanksgiving, this place of absolute gratitude. And it's not after the fact. It's not like give me something and I'm going to say thank you. It's where you are appreciative of life itself and all of the processes of life, where you are standing in pure expectancy beyond any particular expectations. There's a joy that's in your soul because you're alive and you're no longer letting the problems define you. That sense of the freedom that comes from knowing that my good is at hand brings joy. There's a gratitude that's there. There's a gratitude that's there. And the last step he says is release. Release. Now it's very interesting because people are working those first 4 steps. Oh my God. The recognition and the unification and the realization and the thanksgiving. And if they were doing this as a prayer process, there may be a little like tagline at the end. And so I release and let go, amen. They're not painting all of these lofty pictures in their mind of what release looks like. Okay. Oh, they can paint the picture of the realization. Oh, I'm in my right place of employment. Oh, I'm in the right school. I've got the right thing, and it's perfectly located, and it's easily accessible, and I'm growing, and I'm challenged there, and I'm with like-minded kindred spirits, and I'm compensated well, and on and all this picture. But we lack a picture of release. We lack a picture. We lack a picture of what it looks like, of what it feels like, of what it means to release. So we don't really have an intent to release. We don't really have an intent to release. And this release that comes in this prayer process is not just releasing the prayer. We make a mistake on that all the time. Thinking that if I pray this thing enough, and I just release into really believing that that's enough. No, you have to release all the other things that are standing in the way. I love the way that Ernest Holmes said it. He said it could take you 100 times to complete a single spiritual mind treatment. It could take you 100 prayers before your mind goes through the entire terrain of recognizing that you are not your stuff, of unifying with your good, of realizing at hand, of living from a place of gratitude and a final place of release. Release. We're in the springtime now. And there's a vibration that happens in the springtime. Sometimes we refer to it as spring cleaning. There's an energetic something where we're coming out. And we're feeling this need somehow or another to tidy up a little bit, to clean up a little bit, to let some stuff go, to make some room. There's something that's happening there. Save your good stuff for elegant treasures. By the way. But we're feeling that. We're feeling that. Okay? And that's a part of our spiritual psyche as well. In the affirmations, it talked about the concept of pruning. I don't care much for pruning. I don't like it. I don't like it in the physical, let alone the spiritual. In the process of pruning, you just cut everything back. All of it. Not just the dead leaves, but all of it. You ever seen a pruned rose bush? That sucker looks dead Ola. There's this beautiful bougainvillea that grows up the side of my house. And whenever the gardeners prune that thing back, oh, I mourn. It looks terrible. terrible. Just looked dead. But what I have grown to appreciate is that cutting it all away is what is necessary for the new to come out. And when it comes back, it's stronger, it's healthier, it's more vibrant than it was before. I know it, and yet in the process of pruning, I'm not always grateful for that. Because I become more mindful of what I perceive as the loss than in the rejoicing of the new that I know is going to come. Well, it's a funny thing, this spiritual process. We don't get to time the pruning. Sometimes it seems like we don't even have a whole bunch to say about it. But I guarantee you that if you have prayed any sincere prayer about divine order, about right action, that there's some stuff that's going to have to go that you weren't anticipating had to go. Let the pruning and the trimming be for gladness. We can feel about our own lives the way that rose bush looks. We look at our life when we're pruned, and we look as dead and naked as that rose bush does to our own selves. Forgetting that this is just a stage, that this is just a phase, and drama is optional. Drama is optional. The more you cooperate with it, the more you give it your full consent, the more you say that this is okay, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen that's greater and grander and better than anything that you could possibly imagine. This thing called release takes us to the new place of trusting the process. See, when you're looking at that plant that's cut all back, you're trusting that there is a process of life that's going to restore it. You can't control the process. You just are aware of the process, you know of the process, and you have to trust the process. That's how life is. You can't control life. You can't make it happen. You can't make yourself grow any faster than you can make that rose bush grow. Just ain't gonna happen. There are even ideas that have their own season, just like vegetables or just like certain kind of plants. You can plant something at any time, but everything has its season. So there's certain ideas, be a little patient. You want it now. But that's not when that particular thing, it's time to bloom in your life quite yet. Hang on, it'll be the right time to bloom. But in the meantime, it doesn't mean you have to be without. There's always something that's happening. There's always something that's going on. There's always something to partake of. In this place of the release, we were talking about this in my Practitioner 2 class. And I was explaining to them how so often we are praying and we're praying and we're praying. And we forget that this release is not just about the words of the prayer that we're saying. That the release is much bigger than that. That for many of us, the reason why we are not experiencing the full manifestation of our prayers is because we're stuck somewhere else. Okay? I'm praying for a new job, but maybe I'm stuck in a competitiveness with my brother. I'm praying for a new relationship, but maybe I'm stuck in some lack of forgiveness with my mother. You know, I'm praying for this thing, but it's something else over here that's blocking.